Hey everybody, Jeff Hampton from STR Law Guys here. I want to talk to you about avoiding these mistakes before you buy a short-term rental. I'm just going to get right here with you. There's a lot of people right now buying properties based upon data that just doesn't make sense. So mistake number one I want you to understand is relying upon these garbage-free tools on the internet. And yes, even some of the AirDNA data that I'm seeing out there, you've got to be careful when you're making decisions purchasing your new short-term rental. For example, free market tools out there. I know a lot of people like to use some free market tool, even AirDNA, the free tool that they have, or, not to trash other providers that are out there, but if it's free, you're getting exactly what you paid for. Most of these type of free tools and other things that are out there on the internet, you cannot rely on a $200, $400, $500 million purchases based upon some free tool that's on the internet. They are overgeneralized and you're getting what you pay for. AirDNA, remember when you look at AirDNA, most of the time I see most people, even so-called influencers that are out there, certain ones of them, they're relying upon these sheets that rely upon you inputting the last 12 months of data from AirDNA. Be very careful if that's how you're buying your properties. In fact, that's trailing data. Trailing data is nowhere near a precise indicator of future results at all. I see a lot of realtors that do this. They're real bad about it. They're peddling old data, they're packaging it in some marketing platform, making it look like it's a for sure deal. In reality, what's happened is they're not only not a predictor of future results, they're actually a predictor of possible bankruptcy. I've seen people literally do this in the Smokies right now. They're looking at old 2022 data, early 2022 data, using a 12 to 18 month trailing data, and it looks fantastic. It looks like they're going to get a 30 or 40% cash on cash return. In reality, what happens? Those profits are 30%, sometimes more lower because they're relying upon old data. And as we're seeing, look, I'm kind of expecting going into the 2023-2024 season, we're going to see much lower returns based on what we've seen in 2021 and 2022. So what do? You need boots on the ground research when you're looking to buy your short-term rental. You need to actually go to the property, research the market. What are the market drivers? What is it that actually brings people out to that location? Is this property a top 10% property or is it an average property? I'm going to tell you right now, if it's an average property, get ready for below average returns in today's market. Okay, mistake number two, failing to research local regulations. I see this happen. Some people that I actually know that it happened here in Dallas, and I'll get into that here in just a minute. But when you fail to research local regulations, I see this happen. People are worried about their cash on cash return or their cash flow. They're doing all this time researching the market, but they're not actually researching the regulations. If you fail to do that, what if you don't pay attention to your HOA? What if there are city, state, county regulations as it relates to short-term rentals? One of the best examples of this is the HOA. I look at HOAs. You can first look to see that an HOA may not have any current restrictions, the regulations in place that would limit you from using short-term rentals. But what have they tried to pass previously? What is on the agenda for the new regulations that may be coming out? And are you dealing with a bunch of nutcase HOA board members who have an agenda to get rid of all short-term rentals? You need to price that into your risk model when you're looking to purchase a short-term rental. Also, let's not neglect the fact that certain states and certain cities are looking to outlaw short-term rentals completely. I mean, one of the ways we see this is California is trying to impose a 15% tax on short-term rental owners. This would be just an actual nail in the coffin for many people that operate short-term rentals in California. Destroys any return that you would receive at all. But then I also think about some friends that I know in Dallas operating short-term rentals. I even knew a guy who actually bought a short-term rental earlier this year, not even realizing the fact that they were bringing the STR vote before the city council to potentially outlaw short-term rentals. And that's exactly what they did. Now, based upon that vote, he can only use that. He's going to be able to use a short-term rental to rent it out and make any money until the end of the year. He's going to have to be forced to sell that property because now he will not be able to legally operate a short-term rental. Now, mistake number three, obtaining the wrong type of insurance. When I say this is because, look, even the insurance department out there, you can look at the insurance statistics, they make it crystal clear. Nearly 70% of short-term rental owners do not have the right type of insurance. I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again. Commercial insurance is an absolute must. You need $1 to $2 million in premises liability coverage. You need an all-risk dwelling policy coverage that protects you if something were to completely create a total loss. You want to make sure you don't have a gap in coverage to rebuild. And you need loss of income so that if something happens and your guest causes damage to your property and you're not able to rent it out, you want to make sure you're able to cover your carry costs and your income loss during that period of time. But 70% of short-term rental owners use residential policies. Now, maybe you tell me, you say, well, how do I know what kind of coverage I have? Go to page 60 to 70 range of your policy, and if you go there, you're going to see a titled exclusions. When you look at that exclusions, look for commercial or business exclusions. If you see business, commercial use exclusions, can I tell you right now, that includes short-term rentals. You're not getting the coverage you think you are. So it is an absolute huge mistake that I see. Before you even close, make sure you're getting the right type of insurance. Commercial insurance is a must. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 is the mistake that I see people making, not considering a commercial loan or a portfolio loan when considering their financing of their short-term rental. Now, some people say, why would I ever do that, Jeff? Well, look, you avoid so many issues if you choose to close in an LLC. And what I mean by that is every state has its own little obstacles. If you buy something and you close in your personal name, let's say you buy your first short-term rental, it's in Tennessee. If you're in Tennessee and you close in your personal name, you're going to likely want to move that property into an LLC at some point. If you do that, you have to be careful. If you want to do a comprehensive asset protection structure, you could end up facing the family-owned non-corporate entity tax, otherwise known as the FONCE tax. And in that situation, here's what takes place. They can tax you not only 0.5% for the transfer to move it into the LLC, but up to 5% of the gross receipts if you're not careful about making sure that transfer is protected. And so there are ways to receive exemptions, some type of exception on the FONCE tax, but that's just one example. If you do not close in an LLC, many times what will happen is when you move that property over in a transfer to the LLC from your personal name, you can get dinged with a due on sale clause from your mortgage company calling your note due, or you could get dinged with a real estate transfer tax, which the vast majority of states in the country will charge you to transfer that property from your personal name into an LLC. That's mistake number 4. Finally, mistake number 5, not using a short-term rental lease agreement with every single guest. Now, I get a lot of pushback on this. I got a lot of people tell me, say, are you kidding me? I have to use a short-term rental lease agreement for every guest that stays at my property? You better believe you do, because let me tell you what happens if you end up in court. If you go to court, I know people tell you this all the time, I'm just following the rules of Airbnb and VRBO. I'll just go in front of the judge and tell them, hey, I was following their rules and the platform, we need to, that's who you need to be talking to. I want you to know right now, the platforms are nothing more than middlemen. They are nothing more than a technological facilitator of a guest and a host. And because you are the owner of that property, I want you to know right now, the judge is not going to care what Airbnb or VRBO says. The judge is only going to care, do you have a lease and do you have a contract for which how you were supposed to behave, how they were supposed to behave? If you don't, you put yourself at immense risk and you create more liability than you should. So there's a couple of things you need to do. Number 1, do it for every guest, not just for direct bookings. Maybe you got a direct booking website. Don't just do a short-term rental lease agreement for direct bookings. Do it for your Airbnb guests and your VRBO guests. And there's a few things that you need to make sure you include in your short-term rental lease agreement. Include state-specific provisions. In other words, if you have a Florida property, use Florida contract law specifically in your contract. Number 2, you need to make sure you have liability waivers. You can have guests sign off that they are assuming the risk for all your high-risk activities at your property. Let's say you own kayaks. Let's say you've got a golf cart. Let's say you've got, canoes, swimming, whatever else is out there, swimming pools, all that sort of stuff. You need to make sure and create liability waivers so that it helps put you in the best position and the guests can't claim that they were not aware of certain conditions at your property. Finally, you need to get signatures from everybody you can who is staying at the property. Have them initial on everything. Do it by e-sign. It's been recognized in every court in the country that e-signatures are just fine in court and admissible. So the reason why I bring this up, another good example of this, by using this, you get a little bonus. It'll help you with marketing. You can gather everybody's email addresses, just like you can use through StayFi and other options there, but you gather gather all those email addresses, and now you create an email list. And now you can turn around and you can remarket to those great 5-star guests, and you can help bring them over to your direct booking platform. And there you can get some more money by having people stay and taking it off the platform to save you on all those fees. All right, listen, I'm Jeff Hampton with STR Law Guys. I want to give you a free ebook, 5 methods to protect your short-term rental and give you peace of mind. So if you want to click down, you can also visit www.strlawguys.com to obtain that, or you can click down into the video section of the actual description section of this video and input your email address, and I'll send you over that free ebook. I'll see you on our next video, okay?